And we're back, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I appreciate that. And today, let's talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance. These are my early impressions. I have played the game for around 8 hours now, so I have finished the prologue and did some questing after that. So Kingdom Come Deliverance is a first-person RPG, and you play as Henry, who is the son of a blacksmith, and well, he's a very interesting character to play, because he's just an ordinary kid, you know, an ordinary guy. You can easily identify with him, sympathize with him as well. His village is overrun by, well, the bad guys, so to speak, and there's this huge tragedy where his village is burned down and that sort of thing. So Henry sort of takes up arms in this game, and this whole thing sets him on this path of revenge for the death of his parents. You know, I've seen such a story before in other games, but still, you know, it is immersive. I like the story. Gives you an incentive to keep playing, to look forward to what Henry, how you will develop as a character. So I really enjoy that.
You can't go back.
Alright, so again, it sets you off on this path for revenge, so to speak, and I actually think that the game looks quite gorgeous. The green foresty environments are pretty cool. The villages and the huge castles are quite impressive. Not sure whether this will hold up throughout the game after spending tens and tens of hours playing this one. Now, I went back to the village and I was looting bodies, which is kind of weird because the quest here was to bury your parents. So I came back, I'm looting corpses, and it was kind of awkward because later on you will run into a person who is also looting bodies, and not this person, by the way, because he's just a bandit. This will show you a bit of the combat, by the way. The combat feels, well, it's something you have to get used to. It's different from other RPGs. You have to take into consideration that swinging a sword like this, it will take a little time because you can press the button or the button on your controller, but there's a small interval of time. You don't see the results immediately, and it will take stamina, you know, swinging a sword, which is kind of realistic. So I do enjoy the combat, although I do think that some people might be put off by it. So you can loot bodies, as I said, and I just came back to this area, the burned down village, and sometimes I think the dialogue is a bit awkward and unintentionally funny at times. But I actually think it looks good, you know. Look at the character. Maybe a bit stiff, but it looks way better than Skyrim, I think, in terms of design and characters. Not sure whether or not all these, you know, in my eyes, you know, playing this game for 8 hours, to me this looks quite impressive. I'm not sure whether the assets of the game will be reused over and over again as you progress in the game. So, yeah, I actually like the exploration in this game. You get this map and there's sort of fog of war going on, and that will disappear as you move on the, you know, as you move in the game world. So the map will be revealed and points of interest. As you can see, lots of clouds hanging over the map. Those will disappear as you explore the area. So it's a far more organic way of exploration. Although the game looks good, I guess some compromises had to be made, especially in the area of voice. as the voices seem to be a bit muffled, as if recorded in the studio, while most of the game will take place outside. So that's kind of weird. Also, you'll hear a lot of the same voices being used over and over again. Again, this is the map, and as you go, more stuff will be revealed. Which works really, really great, I think. Very art-stylish, arty, sort of an arty map. It's really cool. I like the small touches in this game where you have to eat and sleep to keep yourself healthy. I mean, it's not like a actual survival game where you have to eat and sleep constantly. But it's fun that's there. It sort of adds to the immersion. You also have to clean yourself at times. Otherwise, people will perceive you differently or more hostile than you actually are. You can also sharpen and clean your swords, which is great. Again, that adds to the immersion. Well, character progression is handled a bit different from other RPGs. In this game, you sort of grow your talents quite naturally as you go. So that means that if you talk a lot to people, then your speech talent will grow. If you solve matters more, in a violent way, then your talent for fighting, brawling, that sort of thing sort of grows. And there are also quite a whole lot of perks you can choose from that sort of add to that. Quite unique perks, and sometimes you have to make a choice between one or the other because you can't have both. So it's quite unique. It's really fun to have that in this game. I haven't done a whole lot of questing, so I can't really comment on the quality of the quests. I think the prologue was really interesting. After that, I did some fetch quests, but most of the most RPGs will offer that in the beginning of the game. I talked about combat a little bit before, and I like it when you hit a person in the face. You'll see scratches and blood on their faces and stuff. It's really funny to see. Actually, you have this idea that you're actually hitting a person. There are some glitches in the game, but nothing game-breaking, actually. I've not experienced any crashes to desktop or anything like that. So yeah, I think this game is actually quite good. But again, I have only scratched the surface of it. And I'm just happy that these games are still being made. That not everything is sort of is turned into an MMO, and this is really a single-player experience that will take you hours and hours to complete. And if you like the subject matter, if you like the Middle Ages, this is really an interesting game. There's a lot of lore, a lot of stuff to learn from this game. There's an extensive, what's it called? Sort of encyclopedia section. So you can learn a lot about the world and the history of the area. In the middle of Europe, Prague, Czechia, and all that. So yeah, first impressions are really good. Enjoying this game. Let me know what you think. Leave comments. I really appreciate that. You guys reaching out. And see you next time.